Let's do it. Alrighty, here we go. My name is Marty Fox from WHITEFOX. Now, here's the deal.
We're rolling, we're live. It is another episode of With the Fox. Myself, Shura Taff, joined by Marty Fox, the man himself. And we're joined by a man today who both Marty and I know very well. In fact, we straddle two sides of career. We don't straddle him. I think I heard once in the past, maybe. We're joined by a man who's, had over 2 decades in the media industry as a journalist, and we've seen him on television screens. We've heard him on the radio. Clint Stanaway, it's really good to have you with us.
Good to be here. I do feel like I'm walking into an ambush.
It feels like
you're surrounded, aren't you?
What should I expect?
You're surrounded. Well, your colleague, Tom Steinford, got through unscathed. Let's see if you can make it through. We actually probably owe it to, you got your Channel 9, you're Channel 9.
You were Channel 9.
We've had a lot of Channel 9 personalities in here. We should probably go to 7 and 10 and say, who have you got? But anyway, for you, let's start from the start. 20 years, over 20 years now in...
Who's counting?
Who's counting?
And also... the busiest man, everywhere you look.
Well, you're busy.
I see you.
You're busy.
And I've said, how do you do it? And then you look at me and you go, well, how do you do it?
Yeah.
It's fascinating.
Well, I'm just on that. I think being as prepared as you can be, you just got to be organised, right?
You do.
Are you organised?
You've
got a lot of helpers.
Yeah, I think the helpers keep it organised, to be honest.
Yeah.
By nature, I am a pretty organised dude. Whereas I don't do the organising now.
Yeah.
So I think my delegation's probably the skill. Very good delegator.
I've never been organised until I started in breakfast radio. But let's go back to the start. So 24 years at Channel 9. So I started...
as an intern?
I started as I guess you'd call it a cadet.
Yeah.
Probably the last...
Tom was exactly the same.
Yeah. Probably the last of the cadets because you just don't get... You don't get cadets in journalism anymore. Because
were you in the city or like Tommy out in the bush?
I started at Richmond at Bendigo Street it was known as a news librarian. So basically, straight out of high school, Dad actually knew someone who worked at 9 who said, "Does Clint want some work?" I was on Schoolies when I got the call, and I'm like, TV, how hard can it be? Absolutely. I think it was $21 an hour. I was like, in here.
Yeah, which is big money back then.
Big money. So I did that for a few months, harbored no ambition to get into journalism or TV. And I was like, this is pretty cool. Like
what was cool? What did you like?
Just that I think, to be honest, like the bright lights of TV. Like TV was just cool, just seeing how it all worked.
Yes.
The magic of TV.
Because you, correct me if I'm wrong, you left school, but you must have made a decision because you did arts at Deakin, is that right?
Yeah, arts commerce. But I always wanted to be like a player manager, sport manager, that sort of thing. I was that.
Loved your footy.
I love my footy. That fascinated me.
Tell people about your involvement. Your dad's been involved with the Melbourne Footy Club.
Dad's been involved with Melbourne for, I would say, near on a quarter of a century as well. Quarter of a century sounds like a long time. Let's just say 25 years. He's a very proud staff member at Melbourne, has been for that entirety of time. So, I thought I'm going to be a player manager, going to work in sport management, and then got the job at 9, and then one thing led to another. I was fascinated with it. I sort of then changed my whole pathway uni-wise to journalism, got a job at Win TV in Bendigo, and you have to go and back then you had to go and earn your stripes in the bush. So I was regional Victoria. As a kid from Camberwell in Bendigo.
But cadets always have someone that really helped transform their understanding, or they made such an impact on them.
A mentor.
Mentor, but it's like deeper. It's like without that person, things wouldn't have panned out. And I remember starting, that guy for me was Graham Wilson, Tony Pride, Marcus Peters. They're 3 people that I owe so much to. Like, I'm saying sentences now that they had once sort of explained to me, and it's still relevant in real estate. Yeah. Who were those people for you that early stage?
At the time, I loved everything in a journalism sense that Tracy Grimshaw used to bring to journalism. Her ability to, her interviewing first and foremost, her interviewing techniques and her writing and her presenting. I loved the way she operated. But
what was it? What did she do?
She's just had this air of confidence, great confidence and class about her. Still
Plus,
does.
you got to be fearless, don't you? Because you're asking questions sometimes
she's
that are
fearless.
awkward.
She's fearless.
Yeah.
And then
But not off-putting.
Exactly. And then in a sporting sense, I have sat beside Tony Jones all of my professional life as a sport journalist, and he is one of the most entertaining people I have ever met in my life. He's very funny, but he's a beautiful writer, and I sort of have been able to improve my craft over the years because I've sat next to him. So they're probably two names, and also in a presenting sense, in a TV presenting sense, probably Peter Hitchener, who we all know and love. He's been a constant on our TV screens for 60 years, which is just unbelievable. So it's a roundabout way how I got to Channel 9, came back, and then I came back as a court reporter. Can you believe I was a court reporter?
For how many years?
3 years. Then I ducked off over to London as Nine's European correspondent. So I did that for a few years, then came back and got involved in sport, and here I am now.
I can imagine living in Europe would have been insane.
Well, that's the plum job. I mean, a lot of the journos go for that job.
Tom Steinfort did that as well.
He did. I was going to say, you guys have quite a similar path.
We actually went to kindergarten together.
Oh, there you go.
Tom and I.
Well,
Do you remember the friendship or not?
Something in the sand. I don't know what it was, but...
Piss.
But just quickly on the court reporting, because again, it's like a rite of passage. You got to go through this process. Certainly with all the journalists that I've spoken to. What is it about court reporting that is interesting, formative, hard? Do you think?
Well, it sort of hones your craft. Like you have to be. I mean, accuracy is a must. Obviously, you got to be clear, concise. You got to be organised. It's these little elements that really make you a better journalist, really, because the accuracy thing for a start, you are in people's lives effectively in a courtroom, and there's never anything nice about being in court.
No.
Especially in a criminal sense. So
what do the journalists look for? Do they want to be criminal? Do they want to be in sports? There's, so many different areas, finance. What's the sort of go-to when?
Well, for me, it was always sport. I knew where I wanted to get to. But I also loved hosting and I loved live TV, which is why I'm so lucky now to work as a sport sort of reporter and a sport host, if you will, and then also to host a morning breakfast TV show, which is Weekend Today, which is a lot of fun. Which you've made a few guest star appearances.
Oh, so it's great coming on and seeing it. It's like I'm having a FaceTime with a friend of mine. I really enjoy it.
Well, he'll tell you, and I always found this. To me, live anything is the best because that in the room there's this air of you do. You have to have adrenaline. A few reasons because, and this, like you don't want to swear, you don't want to say the wrong thing. We are fallible. We'll make mistakes. That's okay. But like. It just feels that, I don't know, and again, so because you were back to Channel 9 at Bendigo Street around 2005, I started there in 2006, and then at that time, Channel 9 still had this air of like where TV started, because Bendigo Street's where it all began.
And you always talk about everyone that is at 9 who was around when Bendigo Street was there, they speak about it with such like affection.
There's something magical about it. Yeah, it just felt, well, because now it's, we go to work in an office building. There are at Bendigo Street there were these massive big studios, these props bays. Just you'd walk around. Oh, there's Larry Emder coming straight off the set of Price is Right. It was
the Footy Show boys.
It was just it was cool.
Plus, you were told all the stories about what had happened, and some of them we can't tell on the podcast. But like even those, like the Don Lane stories and the Graham Kennedys, are these figures of TV. You were in the same room.
See that spot over there? This person did that right there.
You're like, oh, okay. Won't touch that then.
They were really, not to say that just TV's changed.
Yeah.
It's changed. And, many people argue it's changed for the better. It's just, it just happens.
Do you find when you're on air, time just goes so quick?
It does.
Like, do you start your shift? I mean, what time do you get in? 4:30?
For the Today Show, I'm in about 5. In about 5. It's a bit different to the weekday show because we start a bit later and we finish a bit later by virtue of everyone, we work more to a weekend schedule. So 7 to 10 a.m. I'm in makeup for probably 90 minutes. No. Just about 10 minutes of makeup and then you're straight to prep. You're reading your papers because you got to be you got to be across everything.
But you're
'cause
coming off
If
all
you're
your-
not, you found out.
But you're coming off your
Benders, you know. What were you going to say?
You said that you didn't get a kebab last week.
No, so okay, so let's just go back a step. So then, when you at Channel 9,
Yeah.
with 2006 onwards, and that's when I remember you. There was a great group of young journalists there who I know you're still very close friends with. Some of whom have
still very
stayed in
young.
journalism, like your
Yeah.
Steinfurts and
Yeah.
Christina Hearn. But then you've got like your Chris Joneses who've gone on to be big time producers
Yeah.
at Channel 7. Like a really good cohort of young journalists. What do you remember about that time?
I remember that we were like a rat pack, weren't we?
Yeah.
We were, but we were all great mates. We used to hang out a lot. And not to say that work isn't fun now, but work was really, really fun back then. It's just the whole industry's changed, and people now probably don't stay in journalism for as long as they did back then. You know, I just think journalism,
Where do they go?
TV journalism has just become a little bit more transient because, look, if I'm honest, the money's probably not in it anymore. Yes. The hours are just a little bit. It's a young person's game.
But also, correct me if
effectively.
I'm wrong, back then, you guys knew the news before anyone.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
you actually were the gatekeepers of what we're about to tell the world
Yeah.
X, right?
Yeah.
Now everyone knows everything because it's all immediate, Twitter, whatever,
Yeah.
right? That is a huge change, and everyone's a journalist.
But it comes back to accuracy.
Yeah, of course,
You need to
of
be
course.
accurate.
Yeah, but
and
back
so many
then
publications.
it was important. You guys were important because
Yeah.
you were going to tell the news. Correct me if I'm wrong, and you heard some really serious stuff.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah. When that phone rang and they were actual physical phones connected to the wall,
Yeah.
if the people watching this podcast know where I'm going with that. I actually witnessed something on Monday which pertained to the sacking of Simon Goodwin, the Melbourne coach, which fascinated me because Tom Morris, our chief football reporter at Nine, he got the tip and he was first with the news, but it was just amazing to see how it all panned out and how he dealt with the situation. I saw it sort of
Take us through it.
firsthand. Well, his phone didn't stop ringing first and foremost, but it was just real old school journalism. And it's to your point, what we used to see a lot more of going back, not even sort of 10 years. And sort of what it created in the newsroom, the buzz around a big breaking story.
Yeah.
Tom had the story. This is how we're going to break it.
Is it someone calling and going, "Hey, just so you know, Goodwin's
It's
back
the
with
great
signs"?
sign.
Is it the tip?
Yeah, and he wouldn't even tell me who it was either.
No.
He just didn't want to go down that rabbit hole.
Sure.
But as a journo,
and
you've got
protecting your source
you've
as
got
well.
to build those spotters
Of
up.
course.
Did you have great lines of inquiry giving you juice?
I had lines of inquiry, but I probably didn't. I just left it to Tom. I'm a little bit too close to.
I think he means back in the day.
Yeah,
Did you have-
sorry,
did
back
you-
in the day.
when you were a
Yeah.
journo, did you have those?
Yeah, I did. Yeah, I did. Yeah. And
have you
those
gotta be
sources
careful?
are still protected.
But have you got to be careful because you've
Of
got
course.
to, you
Yeah.
can't just go, so-and-so did this.
Yeah.
Reputation.
Wayne Carey did this in a thing.
Yeah.
I've got to make sure it's true before I go on.
Allegedly.
That's topical. Allegedly.
That's the thing. There's things that you get that you could report on that you just got to stay.
And there's a lot of, and I won't go into it all, but there are a lot of things that, we've been told that you can't report.
Or choose not to, 'cause
Or you
it's
don't
not.
report.
Yes.
You just don't. So it's a funny game.
Yeah.
We've seen it all. We've also heard it all before.
So then we're at Channel 9 and we're building ourselves up. And then tell us about the time overseas. Because again, from what I understand, the foreign correspondent type of role is challenging because there's a lot of travel, there's a lot of early mornings.
And you've got to probably bounce between personalities. Like you look at the personality of a finance guy, a crime reporter, and so forth. They're all different elements. But if you're a correspondent, you probably dip in between a few.
When I was in Europe, so I was there for 2 years and
Living where?
I was in London, based out of London, and it was a strange time because not a great deal happened in that time because you can actually get really lucky as a foreign correspondent because, you'll get presidential elections, you'll get, there will be harrowing wars happening.
Princess Di
There'll be,
dies.
exactly. There'll be big major events. I didn't really have much.
So that's probably a good thing.
It was a good thing. I probably went to more sporting events than anything else. I've very cashed in on my ability to put European correspondent on an application for accreditation to the British Open or to the Ashes or something similar. But it was a fun time and it probably set me up in a cred sort of sense, to come back home and to land the gig that I wanted, and that was, back in sport and presenting sport.
Because you're in the wide world of sports.
Yep.
And then, of course, weekend doing sports as well. You have access, thanks to Channel 9 and obviously just the journalism world, to the biggest events in the world. And we're lucky in Australia with Grand Prix and, Australian Opens. And for you, what are the ones that sit at the top? And you would have been to Olympics and you've been to Commonwealth Games. Like, these are big moments.
But you also would have made a lot of friends with some of these stars.
Yeah, I mean, Cristiano Ronaldo is one of my great mates. I mean, that was a real pinch me moment, getting to interview Cristiano Ronaldo and spend some time, kick a football around with him. Like, what job?
What was he like? And what was the aura?
He was, I mean, you can only imagine what it's like to be Cristiano Ronaldo.
Were you taller than him?
About the same height, actually.
Yeah.
He might have been a touch smaller. He arrives. He arrives at the MCG, and he has to do an op for Shell, who are probably actually it was Castrol. Sorry, it's Castrol, paying $1 gazillion to have Cristiano Ronaldo kick a soccer ball around on the MCG with a bunch of sport journos from Melbourne. I mean, come on.
Yes.
Eye roll.
Does he really want to do it? Yeah, exactly.
But he was really good. He's really personable. I think we spent about 6 or 7 minutes with him, got the usual selfie to finish things off, and away he went. But, he was a lovely man, and it's something that I'll remember forever. Events, I've been to 3 World Cups, soccer World Cups. Started in Brazil, so the Brazil World Cup, Russia World Cup, and then Qatar World Cup. So they're pretty iconic.
The Brazilian one took the cake.
Absolutely.
Well, Australia,
I mean, a World Cup in Brazil, it doesn't get any better than that.
Except for the Vuvuzelas.
Oh, the Vuvuzelas. Yeah. Yes. Yeah, that was irritating.
Do you remember that? They used to hand out these horns called Vuvuzelas, and the people just blew them inside.
Yeah, you lost me. I was like, what are you talking about?
Good player, Vuvuzela.
I thought it was a club.
What else? More recently, Paris Olympics, which was great. Been to a couple of Olympics. Been to a cricket World Cup in India.
Well, tell people who don't know, because we've got listeners who wouldn't understand, like, the Olympic Games, they're the biggest thing in the world.
Yeah.
What, from a journalism point of view and just an access point of view, do you get? Are you in the village? What are you experiencing?
You get access as a rights holder, which Channel 9 is right now. You get access pretty much everywhere to every event.
Well, I saw you after you landed.
Yeah.
And you were just like exhausted.
Well, it's exhausting as well, because, you go to a big event, you're working. There's no time to hit the merch shops, to hit the Champs-Elysees for a latte.
Yes.
It's you are go. And working in a tricky time zone as well. So, but still, that's one of the best. It was one of the best moments in my professional career, was working on the broadcast of the Paris Games just gone.
It was a great career for you.
I'm so
over there
lucky.
As
well. I saw Greg Norman crumble at the British Open. He was sort of 4 or 5 shots up going into the final round.
That was amazing.
He was dating Chris Evert at the
time.
time.
He was 50, what was he, late 50s?
Yeah, and seemingly had the tournament. It was his to lose.
Yes.
And he
did.
lost. He crumbled all time.
Yes.
So I was there for that. He was,
Did you interview
trudged
him?
off the 18th. He did a very, very short and sharp interview, and you just got a sense that he was a broken man.
you would be.
One of the world's most celebrated golfers.
But so I'm curious about this, because I've had experience at the Australian
On the
Open.
golf course.
Yeah, I'm crumbling on the golf course, definitely. But I've had experience at the Australian Open of interviewing big players after games when they've lost or won and whatnot. How do you prepare for those questions? Because inevitably athletes, and you've done with a lot of athletes, are on another level when it comes to being locked into their final goal. If they don't achieve it.
And you will know this, one of the most difficult interviews you can do is on centre court, whatever court, at the Australian Open, with a player who's just won a match at a Grand Slam.
Yes.
Because they are completely unpredictable.
Correct.
You have no idea what you're walking into.
if they've just won.
Yes.
You've got also
And why is that?
they're
locked into another level. It's like,
but they're also there's some strange players out there. And you just don't, exactly, they're locked in.
So you think the tennis players are the strangest?
Oh, they're
up there.
like OCD.
Remember, they're individuals. They're not in a team sport, and so it's very much them on court.
So onerous on tour.
I mean, Serena Williams was the hardest chat I've ever done, and she called me out on a question that I asked. It was totally fine because she was so locked into the not giving her opponent an inch.
And can I tell you, there's nowhere to hide in that moment because you are surrounded by 15,000 of your closest friends in the stands, and you're like, so you're quite awestruck, but also intimidated by what you're seeing around you.
It's like live TV on another level.
Yeah. Exactly. There's nowhere to hide.
Double live.
It's also on live TV.
So when you look at like Jim doing what he does in that environment,
he just has this.
How does it? It's silky.
He has this ability to disarm anybody with humor, with his amazing knowledge. He's the ultimate.
But I think it helps,
and he's got a presence.
Well, but it also helps. He's done it.
Yes.
So the person on the other end of the question goes, it's Jim Courier. I was told that when I first started at Fox Footy by the producer there or the director there saying, remember, like Anthony Hudson does it very well. Never tell a footy player, I would have done that or he shouldn't have done that. Because they can always say, how many games have you played? He has that ability. Those ex-players can do that. But think about how many commentators in the last few years have been called out for bad questions, right?
Yeah.
You've got to be careful.
There's always the fear of asking a really shit question. And so...
What's the shittest one you've asked?
Oh, geez, I've asked
Is there one that's burnt in your mind?
No, not really. I've asked some bad ones over the journey. Thankfully, not on the tennis court, not on
poor old
Broadway.
Ian Cohen got called out for making Caroline Wozniacki
give us a
spin,
twirl.
remember? Yeah,
give us a twirl.
Oh, God.
That wasn't
great.
The one that I found really difficult was Naomi Osaka. She gave me donuts, like nothing, just 3-word answers. I was like, oh, okay, that was a quick
after a win.
She called me out on court, like being like, no, I didn't do that. And I was like, oh
okay.
Well, Wikipedia must be wrong.
That Wikipedia search you're doing in the tunnel before match point.
Thanks, Naomi. Thanks very much.
But they're fun times.
Yeah,
the Australian Open interviews.
Well, but I think those large events in general, because there's a lot of energy and there's a lot of
I was the first tea announcer at the President's Cup.
That's right. That's awesome.
Which was amazing because as the tea announcer, on the first tee from the United States, Tiger Woods. And I had Tiger come up and I don't think he was playing this morning. It was the first morning. I think he must have been captain. And he had this, NBC had wired him up with an earpiece and he got it all tangled and he was in a bit of so he came up to me and he goes, hey man, can you give us a hand here? I'm like, yeah, sure, Mr. Woods, no worries. I'm sort of like, it was just like you get little interactions like that, which I'm so lucky
because he's got an aura about him, doesn't he?
Oh, absolutely, yeah.
Any names to caught you at? Because that's the other thing about tennis and golf is some of the names you've got to welcome on the court. Anastasia Pavlyuchenkova or whatever. And if you get that wrong, it sounds pretty silly.
Yeah, I back myself in with the names. Yeah, I'm not bad.
There's the TV, there's the sports, and now there's the radio that's just going bananas.
Yes.
Yeah.
Talk to us. How did this all come about as well?
How did it come about? So this is going back 4 years ago.
It's gone like that too.
I know. Jace Hawkins used to work with PJ on KISS, and PJ went back to New Zealand. So they were looking.
And who did she work with? Maddie McLean. Maddie McLean is the partner of Ryan Teese, one of our seniors
at the
development
office.
Right.
How does that
symmetry
happen?
everywhere?
Incredible.
Beautiful.
So they were after a new co-host. As it turns out, Lauren was given the gig as Lauren Phillips, given the gig as Jace's co-host, and they wanted a bit of a revamp of the show, so they were after a new newsreader. And they asked Lauren and Jace independently. They said, Lauren, who do you think would be a good fit? She's like, she calls me Stanny. She goes, Stanny, Clint Stanaway would be really good. They're like, okay, cool. We'll have a think. We'll give him a call. Jace doesn't know me from bar of soap, doesn't know what Lauren's just said. There's this guy on Channel 9 that, I reckon might fit in. His name's Clint Stanaway.
Really?
So maybe we should get him in. They're
How's
like,
that?
well, okay,
That's
we've got to
making
give this
sense.
bloke a call now.
And you'd never done radio?
Never. So I took the call, a bit surprised, and I remember...
Were you hosting today at this stage?
No, I was just doing sport.
Wow. Just sport.
Just weekend sport.
So I went from that to now into radio.
And I said, I'll do it for 6 months because it's a lot. Doing
radio.
both, it's a lot. And it's early wake-ups and it's TV as well. So let's just see how we go. 4 years later, I'm still there, but my sort of role has changed a lot since then. I was hired as a newsreader, 6 months into the job. They're like, oh, hang on, let's chuck him in studio. Now sort of I'm lucky enough to co-host with the guys.
That started years ago, that idea that the newsreader then becomes part of the show. I remember Carrie Bickmore did a bit of that. And they started to integrate these people in.
Well, they see the charisma and they see the humour and it's natural.
So, okay, this is where I think it'd be really interesting to dive into. You were at KISS.
Yes.
And, we all know the news that we heard. Tell us about what happened. So Kyle and Jackie O, they're going bananas in Sydney.
Yeah.
KISS look at it and go, let's nationalise this show. And as such, they're going to get rid of a show that was doing very well in Melbourne, right? Correct me if I'm wrong.
And who was the show that they...
Yeah, this show.
Us.
So Clint... Jace Hawkins and Lauren were on KISS. And tell us about that day, because this is the thing I try to say to people about radio. It is brutal.
Do you know what's crazy? I can't imagine you now not on Nova. That's how well they've done the rebrand.
So we just hit a 9.1, which is the highest share for our show, but also for the station at breakfast in years and years and years. So we were rating really well. Kyle and Jack, they can do what they want in Sydney. They were rating 15, 16.
Yes.
So crazy in Sydney.
Crazy in Sydney. But we'd heard along the grapevine for a number of, let's say, I want to say weeks, but maybe it was even longer than that, maybe a month or two, that management were thinking about this change. Lauren and I were both coming out of contract. Jace was in contract, and they just wouldn't engage with Lauren and myself. And we like,
with a 9.1 rating.
This is a bit sus. Like, what's going on? They're like, no, it's all good. It's coming. We're just working a few things out, scheduling, rah. Took them on their word. Fast forward to, I think it was around the 28th of November, sticks in my mind. We'd done the show that day, went home, and then the AFR put out a piece.
They didn't even call you first.
There was an article in the AFR first about decisions being done, will be announced shortly. Kyle and Jackie O coming to Melbourne, replacing Jace, Lauren and Clint. Got a call that night from the powers that be at ARN to say, I'm sorry, but we won't be renewing you guys in the following year.
And paid a packet for...
What's come out afterwards is they've clearly made a big mistake, to be honest with you. Given the ratings, because Kyle and Jackie O came into Melbourne and Melbournians like local.
Yeah.
It's like
everyone likes local, right?
Melburnians love boutique.
Yeah.
Like the big franchises from Sydney don't really do that well when they come down
They
here.
had to rebrand the show here because it was like, in Sydney they get away with a lot. Melbourne don't want to hear smut in the morning.
So what happens from here is,
Smut.
we are effective. Our radio show is done. We're done.
After 2 years.
We're done, yeah. As in Jace, Lauren, myself.
But did you guys sit down and know that with a rating that you had following, something was going to come
We
up?
hoped that would be the case.
Yeah.
And as it turns out, that summer, that hope sort of was fueled by a few inquiries and phone calls.
What was the timeline on those inquiries?
It would have been
2 months.
I reckon. It was quicker than that. It would have been sort of six weeks.
And this
maybe
is when
a month.
Chrissy Brownie and Sam.
No. This is the Nova show was Ben Bell and Liam. Yeah,
That's right.
So as it turns out, we were signed by Nova, which was amazing. And they moved those guys into a really great spot where they are now in Late Drive.
Yep.
So and since then we've made every post a winner.
I was going to say, and
it's been
I've been a guest a
beaten
few
the
times.
opposition.
Yeah.
I've been a guest a few times
You
and
have
had a
been.
laugh. It's great energy.
Yeah, I think we just
it's nice being in there.
I was going to say, what do you from the outside of going in and seeing the vibe in the room? Is it three people just having a good time?
Vibing. And it's not just the host. It's like everyone around them is really good. Like the back end team is such a vibe. And you feel it the moment you walk in.
Yeah.
The laughs, the banter.
I think it's just three friends having a good time, and also keeping it super local, super relatable, you know.
So relatable.
We don't really overthink anything. We all bring very different sort of views and experiences to the show. You know, Jace is a father of three who doesn't leave his suburb.
Bayside of Melbourne.
Lauren is this just beautiful, caring, compassionate person who
she's quick and funny.
She
more
is
than people realise.
Yeah, very much so. And she's smart as well. She's got this beautiful empathy about her. And then me, I'm the perennially single, sports lover. Who loves a good time.
Yeah.
So we're all so different, but yet so I think we just appeal to so many different people as well.
Can you run through, for people who don't know, how a morning of a breakfast radio show happens and what goes on? Because it's kind of wild, isn't it?
Yeah. Well, Jason and I will usually arrive somewhere around about 5:30. Lauren will arrive about 5:59.
What time's the show on?
As the opener is rolling. 6 a.m. we start. God love her. But a lot of the prep for that day happens the day before.
Yep.
So I've just left a production meeting now for tomorrow's show, where we'll sort of spitball what we're interested in, what we've got ready. So I know that on tomorrow's show, for instance, we've got Craig David, which is pretty cool. So that's one of the good go-tos for tomorrow's show. But and then through the day and through the night, we'll sort of text and chat if we need to about things that have popped up that we need to cover, and then we'll have another meeting at say 20 to 6, quarter to 6. So like a little this is exactly what we're doing.
What are the differences between being on a leading radio show, and then being the host as well on a leading show like the Today Show? Like they're both at the front.
Yeah, which is a great sort of privilege. Yeah, really.
I mean, from a career perspective, like it's.
I try not to think about too much about what I'm doing in the moment, because it can. The more you, in a radio sense, especially, the more you plan, the more you. Nothing's manufactured on our show. We act in the moment, which is, I think, why we've been so successful. Quite a few.
You can be looser on radio, though.
You can. And you've got to remember exactly where you are. Are you on radio or are you on TV? Because they're very different audiences as well.
Do you change?
Oh, yeah. Well, TV is a lot more scripted. In a news sense, it is a news show. I mean, there are elements of entertainment, but it is hard and fast news. So by virtue of that, you're very serious most of the time. Whereas radio, it's entertainment. That is first and foremost what we're doing, aren't we? So Lauren and I do get off radio most mornings and sort of. Do you think there's anyone listening to us? Yes. You'll get people come up to you and go, hey, we love the show. I was listening to that story you told this morning about, and you're like, wow, mind blown, because someone is actually listening to our show. You sort of forget about it. Yeah, which is nice. And also you forget you're on the radio sometimes, especially with Lauren, because I've known her for 20 years. We're just sitting there talking and I'm like, shit, what I can't believe I just said that. Is that okay? Did I say anything bad?
You do have to be very open on breakfast radio.
You do. You need to be.
You've got to be willing to put yourself out there and your family or partner or whatever. Like, it's quite like Jace. I don't know Jace's partner at all, but I imagine she's okay with the fact that he talks about their life in detail.
Well, he says that she listens usually when she's in the car dropping the kids off at about 8:20. So anything 8:20 onwards, he doesn't generally sort of reference. Before that time, no worries. So just don't put it on the socials.
So which one do you enjoy more?
I hate this question, but I'll be honest. I love the immediacy of radio is something that's highly addictive. And the sort of relationship and rapport you build with your co-hosts, but also with Melbourne, is something really, really cool. So I do love. I get a real buzz out of TV still because I've been doing it all my life. But there's just something wildly infectious about radio that I can't put my finger on.
Yeah, wow.
Yeah.
Can I ask you, because you've been through it, how do you rationalize the idea that it could also end again like that? Because you've actually experienced it, and of course it's now worked out.
Just get a watertight contract.
Yeah, well, exactly. I know, but as in like you're in an industry that is
Buddy Franklin type deal.
9 years plus.
But you've been in it for so long. That's the beauty of it, because you've proven to yourself that you have a skill and a personality that people love, and at any given time, whatever happens, you know that there's always going to be an audience. And I think that's something to be very proud of.
Yeah, I don't think you ever feel comfortable. But I know that it's an industry. Media is an industry that I feel immensely passionate about, and I would like to think there's always a role for me to play in some way, shape, or form.
Definitely in TV. You've been at Channel 9 for almost 25 years, but in certainly radio, there's just a number of stories of great radio personalities who just just what happens. It can be.
I guess it's like senior coaching in AFL though. It can come and go like that. So
where do you see yourself 5 years from now?
Good question.
Because is it sustainable? Because breakfast radio takes its toll.
Not both. No.
And you've been doing both now for 2 years.
I dare say at some stage there's a decision to make about what I pour 100% of my energy into, because you're right, it's not sustainable, and they're hard yards.
Are you a morning person or a night person?
I never was a morning person.
Yeah, and do you prefer your mornings now?
I do, yeah. Again, because I think we spoke right off the top about being organised. I had to push myself to be that person that packed a bag in the morning, prepped my breakfast.
It
was not me.
You don't lay your clothes out and stuff now, do you?
Sometimes I did. Because I knew I was coming on this podcast today, I made sure I had a shirt on.
Out.
Yeah.
I'm actually seeing Eden, the CEO, tomorrow.
Oh, are you?
Yeah.
Tell him I said to say good day.
Coming for a coffee. Great guy. He can't get me on the pickle court yet, though. Ex pro tennis player.
Is he?
Yes.
Oh.
Yeah.
Is he a good? Because you're a good tennis player.
I'm okay.
Yeah. Do you prefer tennis or pickleball these days?
With age, pickle.
Okay.
Less court to cover.
Yeah.
Also, you can walk out his back door and play it. So that also helps.
I know. Exactly.
That also helps with the thing.
Oh, look what they built here. Do you play golf?
I've played golf with Marty, and no, he doesn't.
So I'm the same. So here's an issue for me, is that my job, I get invited to so many golf days, so many pro-ams, and I have to say, look, I'm a bit busy.
Yeah.
I don't think I can because I can't play. I'm terrible.
I don't enjoy it.
No, I don't love it either.
Would you play in a pickleball tournament if you were
I
invited?
probably would, yeah.
Well, we've got to arrange it.
There you go.
Yeah.
So
Next Aussie Open, during that timing, we're going to be hosting a tournament.
I love it.
Tom Steinford has the little game. We've got to see what your level's like.
Yeah, we could do it. We could even do
Tom's
like
come over a couple of games.
a mixed doubles.
Now, before we let you go, what about outside of work? So I'll just quickly, I know you boys have just wrapped up the Logies.
Yes.
Now, the Logies is fascinating because I was talking about this with someone else the other day as well, because back in the day, the Logies was in Melbourne.
Yes.
At Crown Casino, and was known to be a pretty wild affair.
It still is.
Yeah. So tell us, is it...
Everyone says the Channel 9 parties were great.
Yeah, they were infamous.
23.
Infamous.
So, yeah, they were infamous.
Now they merge the parties. So the 7, 10, 9.
Do you like it being merged?
It's a different feel, isn't it? It's a different feel. I left Marty Fox at the bar with Davey from Shark Tank.
Okay.
Yes.
What were you talking about? Was he pitching to you or were you pitching to him?
Well, no, he remembers I renovated a warehouse in St Kilda years ago.
Is he a Melbourne boy?
He's a Melbourne boy, I think. Well, I mean, this is going back probably close to 11 years. And I did this renovation that the Fifth Watchers took as a tenancy.
Right.
And he was their junior in there, and they were my tenant. And he was one of the early guys doing their digital. And we played a game of table tennis. And I left and he goes, mate, I can't believe I haven't seen you for so long, blah, blah, blah.
There you go.
I smoked him on the table tennis table.
Isn't he wildly successful?
Oh, that's
He's
the thing.
flying.
It's selling everywhere, global.
Yeah. Yeah, so at the Logies you bump into these just characters that you've sort of watched on telly. You're like suddenly sharing a room with them, sharing an espresso martini with them. Yeah, it's weird, isn't it?
It is.
Do you have a number one Logies memory? Is there one that stands
But it's
out?
like I had never met Carl.
Yeah.
And I finally
saw
him in the flesh and said g'day and had a great yes.
On Sunday night just gone at the Logies, I bumped into Alessandra from Maths.
Yes.
And she told me in no uncertain terms to get your shit together. That's what she said. It's time to get your shit together in a dating sense. So
you are known as one of Melbourne's most eligible bachelors.
Yes.
So
Yes,
as
that
I
was
said
in the
before,
paper.
if anyone wants to
perennially
write into this and offer a date to
single.
Clint, we can find that.
But yeah, it's a whole lot of fun, isn't it?
It was fun. It feels like it is a really long night, and then it's done.
Yeah. It was pretty long.
Yeah, it was. I mean, we could have got to Dubai. That's how long the whole thing was.
Exactly.
Well, either way, I mean, it is an amazing career. You should be very proud to have
Thank you.
Such longevity in a very tough industry. Not just because of like it's brutal by nature, and but also it takes hard work, it takes dedication, it takes doing it well.
And look how consistent you've been.
I think it's nice
You
to
gotta work.
also have the same friends that I had when I started, and you're one of them.
Yeah, thank you.
Shura.
And to work with friends.
Exactly.
So
and
lucky.
new friends as well.
Yeah.
We haven't known each other for that long.
But I think that's the appeal. It's like, you see these people on TV, and particularly for me, I'm not from TV and I've just gotten into it, but just the friendliness. And, I've asked you a few questions that, I've wanted a piece of guidance, and you give it. Like it's very special.
Yeah.
There is something really unique with Channel 9. Not that I know any other
No,
stations,
I'm
but,
the same. I'm the
but
same.
Channel
I've always
9
said
has
that.
something really, really unique and family about it. It's a great
Everyone
place.
says the same thing, so we can't all be wrong.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
Well,
it's a cool place.
You've worked with doyens. You talked about, Hitchener and stuff. I don't know, you would remember a guy called Adi Della Virgin. This was a guy who started in the mail room at Channel 9 in the 60s, worked his way up and became one of the most successful directors. And those people held on to those kind of like stories. And I think that's why Channel 9 has that magic. But
Well, I'm telling you now, they're still there. And it's because of people like yourself, you're continuing that type of mentality. Like it's come through.
Yeah, well, it's also a whole lot of fun as well, right?
Yeah.
Like some of the most fun I've had in my life have been at
Working.
Channel 9,
Like,
at Nova.
Well, it shows. Either way, obviously you can hear Clint every morning on Nova
Yes.
with Jason, Lauren
6
as
to
well.
9.
6 to 9, and then of course on the weekend today and everywhere else at every sporting event that comes under the sun in Australia.
Yeah, I'm sorry about that. I'm
and
sorry
soon to be
you
the
gotta
Fox Pickle Tournament.
put up with me in so many different locations.
Either way, Clint Stanaway, thank you so much for coming
Hey,
on,
thanks
mate.
for being.
Thank you, mate.
You guys, appreciate it.
Thanks,
Pleasure.
Clint.